Okay, this is Mr. Willis, and today is back to coming to you with a Fire Fist brilliant instant fusion kind of mix up. Been working on this for like 8 months, 10 months, a year, and it's basically just a combination of being bored with just playing control decks, but wanting to play Fire Fist. But 3-axis Fire Fist is so inconsistent and so weak, so throwing in resonators and everything makes the deck way better. So first we have the obligatory 3-axis engine. So these are obviously what originally made 3-axis Fire Fist good and famous. It was never at full power before the Banlist in Necros format, but this is what 3-axis Fire Fist is. Their main use in this deck is for the 1-horse Prince who won, because the deck has no extra space. But they also spam out rank 3s really well. Spirit is probably the most irritating card in these, because the Fire Fist, to make the Fire Fist balance, they placed a bunch of limitations on them, so he special summons a Fire Fist from Grave and he's a tuner, but he can only synchro summon a Beast Warrior, and and only Beast Warriors can attack on the turn. He activates the effect. Rooster's the most useful. He can clog your hands, but the good thing about him is he actually recycles fire formations. And Leopard tributes to Grave to get a fire formation. So these two work together. But this is like the weakest core of the deck, but it's important because it gets you rank 3s, and they are quite good now with stuff like Breaksword. Then onto the other Fire Fist aspect. You run 3 Bear because Bear is an easy pop, and then 2 Red Resonator and 1 Wolf Buck. So this is the second entry. Basically, Red Resonator is a tuner that when normal summoned will special summon a rank 4 from your hand, or whatever monster you want from your hand. So the 3 Bear works with that. You just want to make horse prints and stuff, and the 1 Wolf Buck's here to reincarnate the bears, because you want to search slot with Tanky. You can do all sorts of cool stuff with this by milling it with Foolish Burial and everything. So yeah, and rank 4s are good as well. So this is another part of the deck. And then these cards, because they're 3+. The Speed Orange engine has always been really good and really powerful, and generally, great cards. You can't run the Invoker, the MX Saber Invoker in this deck, because we're not running Zodiacs because I'm not that rich, but this gets you Totem Birds, and it's really good fodder for your Synchros, so yeah. And then on to Summon Monk, because it's a free rank 4, you run a hell of a lot of spells, because this deck is running like 52, 51 cards, and it works really well with Red Resonator, because if you have this and Red Resonator and a spell gets you free rank 10, so something like the Leo. So yeah, 1 Summoner Monk. And then your Brilliant Fusion cards. I've always had a problem with Brilliant Fusion because I hate drawing these two. I hate drawing Garnet specifically, because I have other targets for the trick, for the light, but Garnets I hate drawing, but you don't want to run 2 of it, because then you don't run 2 of it, because then, but you hate drawing it because it's useless and you can't use your Gemlight fusions, your Brilliant Fusions, but then you don't run 2 because then you'll draw more, so, but running the Brilliant engine is really worth it. Plus you can use this for discard outlets, you can use it for Resonator plays and everything, and Trick Clown's obviously an amazing card. And then you run 2 Ghost Ogre. I was debating between running this as a hand trap, or running the 2 DD Crow, because Veil has just been power quicked. But in the end, I picked this over DD Crow solely because it destroys them, and I like that a lot. And it's good against Tankies, Zodiac Barrages, and it'll be really good against True Kings when they come out, and True Draco's. Yeah. Onto spells. Your Fire Formations. These cards are just for consistency and for making nice plays. So Tankies, they'll get you all sorts of combo cards in the deck, and Tensu is a double normal summon, which is really nice for your combo plays. Tensus can clog sometimes. Tenki will never clog because it's a search card, but Tenki's can clog. Tensus can clog sometimes, so you could run 1, but then you just wouldn't see enough. So yeah, 2's perfect. And more search cards. This gets your Red Resonators. Red Resonator is really important. I don't run 3 Red Resonators because I'd rather have the spell that thins my deck than the actual monster. So yeah. And then 3 Instant Fusion. This is to see the card as much as possible. Of course, there's Norden as a target, but you also run the Theseus, which is great for just more synchro plays. So yeah, 3 instant fusion is just an amazing card. You'll never draw 3. I haven't done that in ages of testing. 3 brilliant fusion because the start cards are stupid. Plus, if you draw 2 of it, it's bad, but it's alright because you can just discard it for its other effect to give your fusion the actual right stuff. 2 chalice in disgusting rarities, but chalice is one of the best cards in the format right now because it's good going first or second. It's kind of a dice roll format, so chalice is really nice in that. It's not that nice going first, but second it really helps you get around stuff like Trident, which can really get in the way. And then loads of one-offs. So Regeki, board clearing this deck OTKs really quickly, and not a lot of the meta, particularly Zodiac's, floats right now, so Regeki is really nice. Soul Charge, because you make a lot of synchros and it can help you with your first 10 plays and actually get on board. 1 Twin Twister. I've always hated Spell and Trap negation, and particularly with Paleozoics falling off now and Metal Foes not doing that much, not negation, destruction, I'm only running 1 Twin Twister. I never ran MSTs. The only reason I want Twin Twister is because it hits 2. Rekindling is one of your most important combo cards. This needs to be a 2 for the deck to be better. It's amazing with Red Resonator, so yeah. Burial, because you target a lot of stuff in grave, simple as, and you can, worst case scenarios, you can just pitch Trick Clown. And 1 Upstart, because drawing cards is nice. I know I'm running Upstart in a deck that's less than that's more than 40 cards. It helps you get through the deck, and it's a target for Summon Monk. Plus 1,000 life points is not going to make a difference to a deck that deals this much damage. And then traps, you run a small amount of traps, but still 2 Storming, because Storming is a good card. And a lot of decks, like for example Zodiac, or because you run them in everything, will make small XEs. I have a lot of XEs, but just small XEs, and you can't run Forbidden Apocrypha because, you know, it's not. You run a lot of XEs as well. So you pick Storming, and then the Solemn Brigade. These cards are amazing. And onto extra deck. So for synchros, 1 Leo. The extra deck space is really tight, so there's not much you can really add here. So 1 Leo, you make rank 10s a lot really easily. For example, Resonator and 2 level 4s, or Theseus and a level 5, which you can make off your instant fusion. Yeah. So Leo's really important. Only 1 level 9 Trish. You don't normally make level 9s first turn. You normally have to overextend really hard to make a level 9, so the only one that's really worth overextending for is Trishula. So yeah. And then Omega, you could run 2 of this, but it rarely ever comes up. It's really rare, but if you make double Omega, it's practically a game because they can't get over it. Then 1 Thought Ruler. Well, not Thought Ruler. Red Dragon Archfiend. This deck is way better at making boards. Well, not way better, but better at making boards and breaking them. And this card just helps so much. Like, once again, a lot of decks first turn will make their, I don't know, they'll make double Emerald and then fusion them for another Emerald and stuff with the whole Lunalight Black Sheep combo, and then doing this to a field of, I don't know, like say 3 XZs is amazing. So basically it wipes all cards on field and wipes all special summon that does 5 besides this and does 500 damage for each. This have less attack than it. Only 1 Horse Prince. You don't have the space to run 2. You're not even running Vulcan. Like, you'll only ever need 1, and then after that, if you really need 1, you'll just go into one of the rank 3s. So only 1 Horse Prince. 1 Brio, because you make this card easily with Red Resonator and then you rank 4. Brio's the only other level 6. You could run Coral Dragon, which I was running for a really long time, and I only run that because it's a tuner. When it goes to grave, you draw 1, but there's just not enough space. Like, would you rather have Coral Dragon that can only hit 1 card, or Brio that can hit an unlimited, I guess? So yeah, Brio. And then 1 High Speed on Chambara. You have to pick a ranker. You have to pick a level 5, and Chambara is the one I picked because a lot of the time you'll have a Red Resonator and a level 3 in your hand, which is just utterly useless. So you go for this. The other card option is Samsara, Dragon of Rebirth, which is just a 2.6k card in defense that will special summon a card from graveyard when it goes to the grave, but Chambara is better for OTKs and stuff. So that's it for the synchros. Now onto XCs. You run 2 rank 4s. You run an Emerald and a Kengoran. These are just first turn plays. Like, Emeralds for first turn combos and drawing more cards, and it's very useful with the Brilliant Fusion play because you can just get a Garnet back. And Kengoran is because Trident's a card. If Zodiacs ever go down, you will not run the Kengoran at all, but just right now because Zodiacs are a thing. Other rank 4s you could run if you want to play around with a ratio. This is like a pretty perfect ratio. Is you could run Castells, Gaga Samurai is a card I might want to run. I don't know, and Dweller. But these cards are perfect right now, particularly Kengoran. Kengoran's amazing. Then for rank 3 is Totem Bird because you run the Speed Rotation. Breaksword because the card's stupid, and Engineer. You like to divide the extra deck into first turn and second turn cards. So Totem Bird is for first turn, Engineers for first turn or second turn if you know you're running into a bunch of back row, and Breaksword is for getting rid of boards, clearing boards. It can pop itself, and it can pop. Often you make rank 3s off the Spirit Leopard play, and you just pop the tanky or pop the Tensu you created to get this card on to pop. So yeah, you'll still be left with the Breaksword most of the time, which is really nice. And then for the fusions, so one Seraphinite. This is for Brilliant Fusion play. It's just a double normal summon. Card's amazing. And then instant fusion targets Theseus because Theseus is a good card, and Norton because Norton is a stupid card. You can run, well, after the extra deck rollers, there are two potential cards you can run to speed up the deck a bit. You could run Fusion Substitute, I think it's called, which basically takes two XZs or Synchro monsters you have and fusions them, and then you get to recycle and draw, but the deck isn't overpowered enough to get free XZs from all sorts of places and synchros, so you can run it, but it's not as consistent. And then Desires I tested for a very long time, but I decided not to run it because in the end it's best in 60 card variants, and you can banish a lot of your one-offs like your Attack and Tumbles and your Garnets. But yeah, if I ran 60 cards I would run Desires in it, but because this deck doesn't plus off stuff like Grass, then I don't run 60 cards. Then onto the side. This deck side is really unique because it's geared totally for going second, with like 2 cards for going first. So yeah. Denko, one of the cards for going first. I would only run maximum of 2, I wouldn't run 3 because you do run a lot of back row, and I don't like using my normal pump summons on side cards. So yeah, one Denko. But Denko's still a really good card, and it's a rank 4 as well, so you can get it on for free with Resonator and stuff. Then the hand traps. 3 Lancia and 3 Flying Sea. Of the potential 4 meta hand traps plus Maxi, I don't run Maxi because Maxi is not a good card in this deck. I don't think that people just push past it. Lancia is better than Retaliating Sea in my opinion because Retaliating Sea relies on a spell card. It doesn't stop the banishes. It only banishes cards that sent to the graveyard. So I really don't like it. Lancia is just way better. And Flying Sea is just better than DD Crow, I think, because it stops them making the board in the first place. It doesn't get in the way. It just blanket stops. So yeah, those are to stop them making boards first turn, so the boards are easier to break. And these are obviously the Kaiju package are to assist in breaking any boards. Very simple. And the last 2 cards on the side are Twisted and Pension Storm. They're just great cards. These are kind of loose cards on the side. You can switch them around if you want. You can add a third Twin Twister. You can play Vanity's Fiend. You can play Spellcarrying Arrow, 2 Pendulum Storm, whatever. Pendulum Storm is really nice because it's Metal Foe's matchup. So yeah, they're really powerful against them. They'll hit both scales and the counter. And then Twin Twisters is amazing because Twin Twisters is a really good card. But these can be anything: Vanity's Fiend, DD Crows, Maxis, Dark Holes from a board player, Forbidden Apocrypha against Invoke decks, you know. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And this is Maxime, signing out.